say, and then you guys try not to block each other.
It's
Said you're
like meeting, innit? Like, is it because we're short?
I don't know why.
But
it's comfortable.
Yeah. The chairs, isn't it? Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, suddenly I'm shy.
Oh yeah, no. I've done podcasts and the poets are shy, but then it takes about half an hour to get into.
Yeah.
You guys see me? All right.
Are you gonna be standing here?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
You know, I might kneel. I'm good.
Is there something that you can like?
No, it's cool.
Yeah, you can't just squat like that the whole 3 hours.
This is how me and Jade are. How close you are. No, it's cool, man. It's all right. Yeah. No, it's cool.
Wicked.
All right. So, now this is gonna be part of it. This is gonna be the beginning. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Metaforecast episode 6, Filipino Poets edition. Yeah. You guys excited?
Best one.
¿Cómo está? So, also, you guys don't know, it's just a little surprise. So, you guys are going to introduce, I'll introduce you guys. And then what I've got my brother to do is create your poetry names in Bayan. So it's going to come up on screen.
You're
doing attention to detail.
Yeah, so me in comment, and it's going to say Filipino poets in Bayan anyway, as well. So,
that is.
I'm all about the gassing today. So obviously, if you guys don't know, you're about to know. Filipino poets. These guys have been doing it from early 2020 and even before that, and they're still active in the scene. And I would say you guys are still doing like things in different lanes, which I think is incredible. And I think not only the poetry community, but the Filipino and creative community should know about. So I'm going to introduce to you, I guess, like going this way. We have Jade Granell from South London.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Okay. And we have Micah San Jose from South London, but originally from the Midlands, aka Birmingham. We got Brum. And then we have Teddy, the mayor of Somerstown, Teddy the Protector. You have to add the Protector. And then we have Mr. J. Cage of East London, hailing from Dagenham.
Yes.
I mean, okay, cool. So how are you guys? You guys good?
Yeah, we're good.
Jeez. All right, wicked. All right, so basically, like I wanted people to just get a flavor of what you guys are about. So, I guess we start from around the table because that'd be easier and less confusing. So, Jade, tell us about yourself and growing up in South London, being Filipino. Yeah.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Jade. It's lovely, obviously, to be around like everyone here. I didn't start doing poetry until 2021. But then, like, when I think about it, I've always been writing. So I guess that I've always had that in me. And it was actually this one here, meeting this one, that where I plucked up the courage to kind of jump up on stage. My first open mic night at BYOB in Wembley, and I just fell in love with the community, and I have never felt so safe to express like your deepest feelings and emotions, and that's it. I'm hooked now. I'm obsessed. But yeah, that's me in my scene.
Okay, and then Mika, like tell us about how you came up on it, and obviously.
Hi guys, I'm Mika. So I've always like romanticized my life. I used to like read books. My parents were like bare strict growing up, so I'd be in my room like reading books and stuff. So I used to always like romanticize everything, and I used to like write in my journals about stuff. And then I came across poetry, I think in like 2016. Button poetry. I was like found it on YouTube, and I was like watching like all of that stuff, and then pulled up to like my first like open mic event in Brum at this place called Poetry Jam, and like me and my friends would just like pull up. People would like do open mics, stand up and read their poetry, and at that time I was like in love with I feel like my mum don't know this either, so I was in love with my first boyfriend, and that's when I was like writing poetry. You know the vibe. Standing up and performing, and then like I took a massive break from poetry when I moved out of Birmingham, and I feel like coming to London with like the poetry scene here has been really nice, because it's like everyone's so active, like there's so many talented people. So that's really like motivated me and like inspired me to like write again and like hop back on the poetry scene. So
Okay, Teddy, what about you?
I've been writing since I was a teen, but then I stopped for a long while, and then I went to Manchester one day. And then,
International.
yeah, we're going places, baby. And then coming back, I was like, this is long, man. So I decided to write, like, my best friend just got married, and I decided to write something. It's called Best Man Speech Part 2. Because I just came out of I just came out of some mental health back then. And I was like, you know what, if I could do a best man speech, I would do it again, innit? And this is how I'll write it. Coming back from Manchester, that 3-hour long drive took me the first sentence to the last sentence to finish that whole poem. Wow. And I went to my brethren's house the next straight after from Manchester, and I was like, yo, check this out. It's like, this is deep, man. And they were like, you know, you're a spoken word artist deep down inside. And so after that happened, I was like, you know what, let's write some more poems. Checked out YouTube. Where's the next poetry scene? Check out Metaphorest. And I was like, this guy, I swear he's Filipino, you know. He's just like bigging up the scene. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go BYOB. I think I saw you.
Yeah, I think both of you were
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Meta introduced me to you. That was the first time I saw you. And then, did my set. And it was in BYOB Croydon. And Croydon has a big following, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
South London.
Because that's the first one I went to as well.
yeah.
I wasn't there that time when you went.
Yeah.
You messaged me.
So when it finished, me and Meta was like, I was trying to look for you. And I was like, yeah, I was trying to look for you too, bro.
Because I know you was Filipino, but you kind of, you had me guessing until you did the Tagalog near the end of your poem. And I was like, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, this guy, because I was like, oh, it could be Samoan, you know. I was like, I wasn't sure, but yeah, then when you bust out the Tagalog, I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's my journey.
Okay.
Yeah, wavy. So, yeah, I'm JK. Hi. So, I started writing since I was very young, since I was in primary school. It was one of those ways, it was one of those things that I did to, you know, mentally keep myself in check without realizing it. And I used to go to stay in my bedroom and write. And I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool to like read, you know, to go to my mom and say, hey, mom, come check out what I wrote. And then she'd encourage me to like tell my teachers about it. And then I guess that's one of the things that gave me the confidence to keep writing. And then when I was in secondary school, I got into obviously rap music. I started rapping music and, you know, performing my raps in the playground and that, you know, playground raps. And then, but I always wrote poetry. I always thought it was cool. I always thought it was cool to be very artistic and with words, right? So yeah, but when I was at 17, that's when I was going through like my little relationship phases. And yeah, from then that's when my poetry started to be more intense. And I thought, yo, like this is where I'm able to really write some dark stuff, but make it sound good at the same time.
It's that freedom, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of poetry.
It's that
Yeah,
role,
it's
like,
got that
like I don't feel judged in it, and I guess from then that's where my self-esteem came. Where you see it in life, as especially in life, and especially in this like not so easy life. Like a lot of our confidence and self-esteem comes from maybe our finances or where we are in life. But I guess that from being a creative is what gave me that confidence and self-esteem really. So up until today, I'm still writing, still releasing music, still telling my stories and looking for like new ways to expand my artistry, which I've started doing it through painting as well, because I believe that everything is poetry. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my story as of now. Thank you.
So I just wanted to say like my experiences with meeting all of you individually. Obviously first I met Jade. And you came across, you messaged me, you DM'd me. This is what I love about Jade, right? Jade just does shit. She doesn't care. Like she just does things. Like, and you was doing the most as well around that time. So she messaged me, and I think you found me through Shafi, right? Yeah. So big up Shafi.
Yeah. My girl.
Yeah, your girl. OG. So yeah, she showed she messaged me saying that you wanted to talk about poetry, right? And then I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious because obviously I'm the only Filipino at this time in the spoken word scene. So I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, yeah, like, I think it was like, share me your poetry, right? Or share me your writing. Because you said it was journal writing. And I was like, and you read it to me. We FaceTimed. You FaceTimed me that day.
I was like, oh, no, let's do it.
Yeah, it's like same day, right? I think it was same day, right?
Yeah, I don't fuck about.
Yeah, she don't fuck about.
Can we swear?
No, yeah, it's cool, man. I don't give a fuck about monetization right now. So yeah, and then she read it, and I was like, bro, this is really deep. And what I appreciate about Jade is like she leaves everything on the page. She doesn't hide from anything, and she's very brave with what she puts on the what she stands for and what she puts out on the page. So when I
5 minutes in.
yeah, trust me. So like when I think of like just finding you would like, if I was gonna find a Filipino poet for the like apart from me, like I'm glad that you were the first one I came across. Because there's a lot of hidden influences that Jade has done. So if you guys don't know, if you're a poet, there's a poetry WhatsApp group, and Jade started that poetry WhatsApp group. It was initially, I think, 20 and 40 poets. You know how many poets are in that?
Yeah, it's mad.
It's under 200. Yeah. There's under 200 poets in a WhatsApp group that Jade started, and no one knows that. So I'm gonna give you your flowers for that. For sure, man. So big up
for that.
And obviously, she also started, like most poets, like will go open mic, and then headline, and then start doing like things like videos, video projects, audio projects. Jade just decided I'm gonna do a poetry video. She has not even been to an open mic. She didn't do. She didn't even ask me to come through. I had to invite myself. I was like, yo, you're not gonna invite me to this. So I was like, yo, let me come through. Yeah, she invited me. Yeah, that was the first time, and you can find it on my channel. Yeah. So like, yeah, yeah, she didn't invite me, and she knew I do videos as well. Like, all right, cool. And yeah, like I invited myself, and then that was the first time like we jammed. Like, and I thought, yeah, this is my kinfolk, because she's playing, like you always see her with a speaker playing instrumentals, and she's spitting on beats, and that's what I like to do. That's what Teddy likes to do. That's what JK does. I don't know if he's spitting, but come through. We need to film a Fili cypher, you know. We need to do a cypher, you know. I'm doing this. So yeah, that's one of the things I just wanted to like say that about you. And then how I came across Mika, I didn't even see you in person. I literally was just online, and you were just like performing, and then you came out of nowhere, and then you're already headlining. I was like, I don't go south a lot, but when she was headlining in Streatham Speaks, I think, and I was like, yo, if I'm gonna meet this, I got to meet her.
Yeah, I didn't even know you were coming. I was so gassy that time. I was like,
no, I had to meet you, and I think I can't remember, but I think I might have been telling Jade or one of you guys about you as well, because like, right, this person's sick, because I've just seen clips, and you were incorporating Tagalog into your poetry, which is something that I kind of want to touch on later with you and Teddy. But yeah, and obviously you killed your set. She did this thing with one of the pieces with a projector, which is something like reminding me of you, what you would do, and it's something that I did in one of my headlines. I used the projector, so I was like, yeah, this guy's smart, man. So yeah, that was a beautiful moment. So that was one of my first memories meeting you. Yeah. Teddy now. Okay, so Teddy, I forgot what piece you did that day.
Oh, it was Dream That Dream or something.
Yeah, but man, like, so obviously I think it was like near the end of the night as well. Yeah, and I was filming, so I'm usually at an event just like tethered to my camera, but what Teddy did was he did this piece, and I'm just like trying to guess because he's brown in it. I'm like, oh, okay, is he Filipino? Is he? And then what was the line that you said in Tagalog that
something kababayan?
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, that's Tagalog. And I was like, I don't understand what it means, but yeah, like I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna go find him after, and then and then obviously I tried to find you. You were chilling outside, and then it was like a flash, and then we were already doing poetry and Shoobs together. It was just a series of conversations, man. Like, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that's the baby, man. We all of us here just owning our own verticals, man. So it's amazing, and Teddy's done so much in so little time. Like, just, you know, creating a platform with me with poetry and Shoobs, creating poetry that is like you the poem that you did on our birthday was amazing. Like, I didn't even think you were gonna do it to a beat, and then you did something to a beat. I was like the Crept and Crona. Was it Crepes? Was it Last Night in Lagos? bruv, that's a sick piece, man. And yeah, like you had everyone just like. Like that, and I still didn't figure out what girl you was chatting to about that poem in that poem.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yeah. You want to say it on the podcast?
Oh no, not the podcast.
Okay, go later afterwards. So yeah, like JK's like you did a music piece, I think, or was it a cappella when you did it?
So I performed 15 Story Part 1 on stage. So like a cappella,
yeah, and I think you was with me, Jade. I was like, this guy's Filipino, yeah, and it's like, it was like a Pokemon, like try to catch him. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, yeah, and then I was like, yeah, we need to go approach him and just talk to him, and just show love, because I think representation is a really big thing, and I think without any of you guys, I think anyone that comes after us, like everyone will like relate it back to just seeing someone that they see with like a brown face, or like, you know, like brown eyes, dark hair, and yeah, or just Asian representation in general. And I think there's a lot of representation in the poetry scene, whether it be Black Caribbean, African, Caribbean, South Asian, Southeast Asian, but like, yeah, like to have Southeast Asian in the mix. Am I going right? Yeah, it's just important, man. So I appreciate you guys just continuing your art, and yeah, just inspiring. So I want to get into talking about like your experiences being like Filipino in the UK, and things like that. So shall we go from this side going round, or you want to go this side going round?
We were actually speaking about this before we started recording, and the different feelings that we had growing up in the UK. And I mentioned my kind of like personal experience, and I remember first dyeing my hair, and it was brown, and then I went to like blonde.
What age was this?
It was, do you know what? I think I was about 16, 17, and I dyed my hair blonde, and then people started going to me like, oh, like, well, where are you from? Are you like Latina? Or are you Spanish? Are you Brazilian? And I, to be honest, really liked the idea that people thought I was mixed, and people thought, and I kept, and I think for a good decade I had my hair blonde, and it was light, and I loved the idea that no one knew where I was from, and I also like the idea that people didn't think I was a typical Filipino.
Yeah,
I kind of like,
I kind of like that growing up as well. I don't know why.
I don't know what it is, but then now it's like, a few years ago, I think just going through maybe a spiritual awakening, or just opening my eyes, getting more in touch with my roots, and I think a big thing was going back to the Philippines. I think it took me about 13 years to go back. I hadn't been back in like 13 years, because when family was going, I was like, no, okay, I want to go Vegas, I want to go Miami, and when I'll go to different other I've been to the homeland, but I had to go, but Lula passed away, and then when going back there, I fell in love with my culture, who I was, just the way of life, with being Filipino, and my hair was black since then. I'm like, Fili pride,
I feel like going back to the motherland, you're unlocking your character.
And like Fili pride has just overwhelmed me, and it's come back to me now. So I'm like, I'm all for this, like, for like pioneers like this, you guys, everyone in their art, like you said, everyone in their lane, like paving the way for like the future generations to go, like, it's okay, like this is,
and to feel community as well. Community is a big thing.
Did you think that growing up as a teen, that would you say that you were quite introverted, and because that there was less of us around, did you feel like you wanted to fit in?
Yeah,
was that as well.
I think so. I'm gonna say like part of the popular crew, but I was all, we were all friendly. So I was friends with the Neeks and like everyone else. And I loved it, man. I don't care. Like, you're nice, you're cat. Like, if you're cool, we're cool. We're gonna kick it. But like my main group, was like the. Was very like loud and boisterous, and I suppose
as a Filipino,
and as well, you know what? I know it sounds really silly as well, or maybe not, because I think you Filipinos were going to understand. But being small and short, as opposed to like everyone, you kind of are like already got the physical. Like, it's against you, Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's you're already kind of you're already kind of like, you're not kind of. Everyone's looks a little bit more older than you. You look a lot younger for your age. So they're all there, like, you know, going to they can get in clubs and stuff, and you're just like,
well, they're allowed to because their parents are straight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Wait, I struggled because I came here when I was 7.
Hard, right?
Yeah, like. Because Birmingham was like really mixed anyways. I don't know why it was so hard, but when I first came here, I like, idolized white people, like really wanted to be white. So we came here because my stepdad's white, and him and my mum met in the Philippines.
How old?
I was 7. And then when I first came here, I was like, yo, I'm gonna like use his last name. I don't know who San Jose is, that's not me. So I was like going by like Mika Anderson. Like in school, like people, teachers would be like, Mika Anderson this, I'll have it on my Facebook. And I just like really badly wanted to be white. And like I remember primary school, like my mom would cook like really nice Filipino food, and I'd take it to school, and then people would be like, oh, what's that smell? Like we're going on like school trips, I've got like food in my bag, or like I'm eating like rice with a spoon, and they're like, why are you using a spoon? Like stuff like that. I feel like really like knock me down as a like Filipino coming to this country. And then my secondary school was a lot more mixed. I feel like white people were like the minority there. It was a lot of like black, like South Asian. I went to a girls' school, so yeah, full of like black South Asian girls. And I feel like then was when I like unlocked like my love for being Filipino. I was like, it's so much cooler to be, it's kind of lit being Filipino. Like, why was I suppressing that for so long?
Yeah, the names were sexy, like someone like Mika, like San Jose,
and like I can't believe I like closed off that part of me for so long, because I really like wanted to be white and like look white and like have white features and stuff. So because like in like primary school, all the boys like the white girls were like the popular ones. So yeah, I think that's when I kind of like unlocked my like love for being Filipino, and ever since then I've just started to like, I haven't been back for Philippines as well, so I'm going back hopefully end of this year. Hopefully, I know, making it happen. I don't care if I'm calling that, but making it happen. But yeah, ever since then I've like just loved like Filipino culture and like being Filipino.
It's nice.
Does everyone know where exactly they're from in Philippines?
That's the question I wanted to ask. Thank you, Teddy, for
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Where are you from?
Angono, Rizal. It's the art capital of Philippines.
Oh, capital.
Makes sense.
Come on.
And then coming from Camden, art capital as well.
What's it? What's it called?
Angono, Rizal.
Were you born in the Philippines?
No, I was born here.
Are you born here?
Yeah.
Were you born here?
I was born here.
I imagine if we found it hard, like growing up and trying to fit in, imagine like our parents back then who were paving the way, like first, second generation Filipinos coming here. Yeah, because that's exactly like my mum and dad. Like they spoke Ilocano though at home, so I can understand it, but then I'll reply in English. But it's so annoying that I can't. But you go Philippines, you're there for like a week, and then you're like, like all of it comes out, like.
That's what she's saying. Like, sometimes I'm there for like, I was there a week before my brother, and my brother's screwing at me like, why have you got an accent? And I feel like I'm proper like Philippines, but really I'm actually speaking English in the Tagalog in the Filipino accent rather than I'm actually speaking Tagalog.
Your accents change when you're talking to like titas and titos, because my friends are always like,
it's like code switch.
When they're like, you're so weird when you're like, even when I'm speaking English to my mom, I sound so Filipino even in English, and they're like, why do you change your accent? I'm just like,
actually, where is everyone from Philippines, by the way?
Pangasinan, Alcala.
Cavite, Dasmariñas. But my Lola's family, so literally all my family, they like live in the same like land, and they're from Bacoor. What about you?
Yeah, so both my parents are from Manila. My mum's from Mandaluyong, my dad's from Pandacan.
I like it because it's different places that I've never heard of.
I heard Manila, I was like,
Oh, Manila,
I know that place. Yeah.
That's the motherland.
Yeah.
I think Cavite is next to where we live.
Really?
It's like a lake like opposite. And then they shout to each other. It's mad.
I heard that like Caviteñans or something are like really loud. So I always thought it's just Filipinos in general, because Filipinos are loud anyways.
Yeah, we're loud.
And then my housemate's mom's from Cavite as well, and they were like, apparently it's very like Caviteñan thing, because my mom's family, she'd be on the phone to my uncle and she's like, I know what? And I'm like, I can hear it from upstairs. I'm like, why do you have to shout that?
That's so loud.
And I think that's why I grew up loud as well, because I'm like, my whole family was just loud.
You know, that fully explains, because you know sometimes I'm on the bus here, and you can blatantly tell when there's a Filipino, and they speak loud.
You just want to hide away from them.
No, the thing is, it makes me happy, like to know that they're here, but at the same time, it's like, but at the same time,
their presence is felt.
Yeah, like their presence is, but at the same time, it is funny as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then that explains it, because they might have been from
because you get some Filipinos are like not as loud, like a bit more.
I've not met one yet.
yeah.
No one answering the phone.
Do you guys like feel this thing in your heart when you're like vibing with like Filipinos, like same culture, and you just like feel nice? I feel like growing up, because I didn't really like chill with a lot of Phillies growing up, I'll be sharing other people's culture, and then when you're sharing your own culture, it just makes you feel like you know, just warm.
It's so natural, isn't it? Like even coming here and just talking. This is the first time like all of us have come in here and had a proper conversation, and it's just flowing.
And there's lunch after, man.
Isn't it?
Jade brought some food. She got back on.
Don't get too excited. It's great. There's no adobo. There's no panapitan. There's no.
Mamasun's is nearby, you know.
Oh yeah. They got a vegan ice cream.
But we gotta wrap this up quick.
Let's go. Mama Sons, they're doing bits.
They're doing bits, because you know the beautiful thing they're doing.
Now, don't they? Like,
Yeah.
They've got a whole chain of restaurants.
Mama Sons, let's unite, innit? Let's collaborate. Let's do
you know
it.
one thing that they're doing right is because you see, one of our motives is pushing our culture to outside of culture, right? And that's one thing that Mama Sons have done. So like now more people from outside of Philippine backgrounds are being introduced to our culture now. You feel me? Which is a wonderful thing. But I want to bring something up.
Go for it.
Because I want to go back and speak about like me growing up in Philippines, because the thing is, you see exactly what you're saying. Like when I got to, I remember like sometime when I was at 16, when I really wanted to find other Filipinos in the community, innit? So because I grew up in Dagenham, right? I lived in different places around West London until I was in year 7. So I was already familiar that there are Filipinos around. But when I moved to Dagenham in year 7, it was only until I was in year 10 where I realized, I want to find. Like I've got my own set of friends who are non-Filipino in school, but then like, you know, I was also very introverted as well in school. I felt like I was very careful about what I said. Whenever it was my time to speak, like one thing I did realize is that every time it was my turn to speak, it mattered, because like how less I spoke. But then because I've always wanted to do music, I remember like there was a group of other players doing music, and I wanted to somehow like get to know these guys, innit? Like I remember like there was 2 artists. There was one. I remember everything. Like there was an artist called like K-Eazy and like K-Eazy and Conflict, innit? I remember. Yeah, but yeah, they're around like my generation, so I wanted to find out like, how can I connect to these people, innit? And then I got introduced to a friend, to another friend, to another friend. Once I got to know, not directly them, but like other people in the Philippine community, it's like, bro, like this is the energy that I never thought I needed. Like I'm having drink ups, like I don't drink like this shit. Like how is it 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm still drinking like this? Like mama would not allow this. Mama would not allow me to do this, but like I felt quite safe, innit?
accepted.
I felt accepted.
True.
Yeah, and that's how I feel like now in the poetry scene for us. I feel more accepted. I feel like all the hard work and the sacrifice and me questioning, am I compromising my identity or compromising my goal, compromising my willingness to want to really work on my art when I could just be doing something that society says like save money for a house and all that. No, like I feel that like where I am, the people I met have pretty much like validated that for me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So that's why creatives have to be around creatives.
Yeah, I swear, creatives have to be around creatives. You have to be around creatives.
I feel like if you're around people that are like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, I want to like go up the like career ladder, you're gonna feel like, oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Like I'm not earning money. I'm not like successful. So, but when you're around other creatives, it's just like I feel like it motivates you to like want to create and like.
It motivates you to keep going on, isn't it?
The ideas expand, doesn't it?
Yeah. Ideas expand.
You like so much. You start one conversation.
I know we've had conversations. I've had conversations,
and it's just like boom,
as well,
and
like,
ideas are birthed. Yeah.
I know Teddy and Mika, you have Tagalog and poetry. Like,
so thick.
Like, tell me like how you kind of integrated that, and you know what was kind of your aim to kind of put put that in your poetry for people that don't understand it, like in the spoken word scene, who most of the audience isn't even Filipino?
Do you want to go today?
You go first.
So I think the time I put Tagalog in was when I wrote a poem about my mum. And my mum is like, I say this all the time. I talk about this all the time. But she's literally the only, shout out to Mumsy. She's like the one thing that like keeps me connected to my culture. Like there is nothing else in this world that like keeps me as connected to being Filipino and like Filipino culture as my mum does. So when I wrote a poem about her, I was like, I feel like it's only right to say something in Tagalog because I also only know Tagalog now because of her. And like, I'm so like, I feel like because I didn't grow up with a lot of Filipinos and like haven't been back to the Philippines, I'm not like, I didn't have, because I feel like in Birmingham, you're like friends with your group from church. And when we came here, people were already like friends. So like, I didn't really make like the church friend group. So yeah, I always relied on my mom for like keeping me like close to my culture. So yeah, I like wrote like the Tagalog bit. And not gonna lie, I didn't go on Google. I knew what I wanted to say, but some words I'd be like, Google Translate. Then I sent it to my mom and I'll call my mom like, does this make sense? And she's like, I don't know about that word. No, like switch it up.
At least your mum helps you. My parents don't help me. Like, you have to learn yourself.
That's such a good accent, Filipino. I can't do the Filipino accent. No, you did that really well.
Who else speaks Tagalog here still?
It's just Teddy who's going to go into your thing as well.
It's an interesting one. Growing up, like, no one taught me. I was self-taught.
That's what I love.
That's it.
So what happened is my auntie went to my mum was like, alam mo ba yung anak mo? He's speaking in Tagalog. And my mum said, I don't even teach him. I watch sorry, I'm speaking Tagalog.
It'll come on the subtitles, isn't it?
Dolphy, you know Dolphy?
Yes, the actor.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
So you know how kids were watching cartoons? As a kid, I was watching Dolphy.
Okay.
So some of my personality come from like a comedic background, like the Filipino old school slapstick.
No, you're very Filipino. Sense, the energy there.
You know what I'm saying?
Comedy.
And so, so that was interesting. I was like, okay, like I always wanted to communicate with my cousins, but I didn't know how to. So watching Dolphy just spurred me on. You know what I mean?
I rate that. Like learning like Tagalog by yourself, because Tagalog is a hard language to learn. I can't lie if you didn't grow up with it.
My friend learned the same way. Like,
just watching Filipino films.
There was no subtitles.
No subtitles.
It was just talking.
Stop it.
I heard if you watch like Filipino dramas as well, like telenovelas, that you just like pick up.
Oh man, I'm gonna try. There's a lot of Filipino films.
But imagine how different your humor, like
your humor would have been so old school. Your humor would have been just London humor, bro.
You get to, I feel like you can catch like Filipino energy and Filipino sense of
humor.
I'm proud.
It's like calling it Tito now.
I'm proud of being that uncle, bro.
How long do you think that took?
I don't know. I was very young when I learned it, but incorporating it with my poetry, it's like it's more the sounds and the flow. So it's not like, I'm just gonna put some Tagalog in now. I'm just gonna write some lines, and we're like, okay. Oh, sick. And then that's how it comes out. That's how I create it.
I love Tagalog. It sounds beautiful. It sounds, it's just soft. But sometimes it can be like, when you
sometimes
it sounds hard.
Sounds harsh.
My auntie always sounded angry when she was just being nice as well, in Tagalog. But I think it's just like a lot of, it's very choppy as well.
It's very
syllables. But I think if you know Tagalog, you can spit really sick. Have you heard Tagalog?
Oh my gosh,
rappers?
There's heavy.
There's one Filipino rapper, shout out if you called KYD.
Oh my gosh, I know, Did you introduce me?
I know his wifey rhythm. KYD did wifey rhythm. And that made me want to do my wifey rhythm.
Oh, stop it.
Is it your wifey rhythm that you did, that he did?
Yeah, I watched his wifey rhythm because it's Tiny Tempers originally. But when he did his, and I was like, I'm gonna do mine. But it was just floating around on the internet, but I didn't know what he looked like or whatever. I also wanted to say, obviously, with representation, like JK, because you're the only Filipino artist, apart from maybe skits, that's doing music, UK music. Because obviously, you got a video on Grime Daily.
Big.
I mean,
Thank you.
because obviously from young I've wanted to rap in it. That's how I kind of got into like writing rhymes and stuff. But I was like, because when you're around people, like none of my people wanted to do music, so I never got around to doing music. But you did it, and I was like, because there's no Filipino rappers in the UK.
Is there not? Is there not a big Filipino like community with music?
Because you know one thing that's different. You see, like I'm like, just to let you guys know, I'm in my late 20s, innit? So, and what it is that when you grow up doing music, is because and I understand, because music it does cost a lot. Like you've got to invest a lot in studio time making the songs and that, and it requires being very youthful as well, innit? Like so most of the people who I knew that did music, like their love for music like died quite young, innit? Whereas for me it was the opposite. I felt like from me living my life, my love for music became a lot stronger, and even up until now, my love for music's even stronger. I didn't think of it so deep like that in terms of representation. Yeah, I have people tell me that, yo, like you can stand out because you look different. But then thinking about it too much is you know, it became a bit too much for me. But then it was only until I realized from me seeing results and from me continuing that, yo, like there's people out there who like from my culture, like who recognize what I do and it's inspiring them, and I didn't realize it. Like it's
sick, man.
People see you on screen.
Like, yeah, like you don't realize that when you're at a stage where your name is online and is doing bits, that people do recognize you without you realizing, and I support everyone who recognizes JK in the movement. So thank you guys.
I get gassed when I see Filipinos as well. Like, you know, and like I met you, and like I think we just followed each other on like socials and stuff. I was like, it just feels nice to know like other like Filipinos.
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
definitely.
I know. I'm like, oh, another fellow Filipino.
Yeah.
And I know this. It's like, it's. I feel very. They're kind of like proud to like just to not only just have someone represent you, but also almost quite, because I can actually just talk to JK. I can call him.
It is so funny how supportive we are, isn't it? Like we really are, and like any claim to. Like even celebrities on mainstream TV, like Bruno Mars, he's Filipino, we're claiming him. We're claiming her. Nicole Scherzinger, we claim her. We'll go on. We'll be like Manny Pacquiao. We claim like
Disney released that advert, and it was like
Lola.
I was there on the bus like crying.
Oh no.
That was the Christmas.
And they were making the stars and stuff.
The panda, what's it called? The star. What's it called?
I forgot what it's called.
Parol, yeah.
Oh, we need to.
Because I feel like Filipinos, like Southeast Asians, like get a lot of like representation, but Filipinos specifically don't. I feel like in like media and stuff. So it's nice that like whenever you see stuff like that, I feel like it's nice too.
When I went to Philippines, and I had to go get like moisturizer. I was like breaking out, my eczema was going really bad, and I was looking at whatever store there was, and there was just everything. Everything contained whitening agent, whitening, bleaching, and I was just like, what? And I couldn't find a product that didn't have no whitening.
Because you're out there to tan, innit?
Yeah, mate.
I'm here to embrace my
Exactly.
My brown skin.
If the Filipinos in our homeland only knew that people are paying to be their colour, people are actually risking getting cancer and laying down in sunbeds and whatnot.
My Lola used to walk around with an umbrella here. She used to come here like when she was alive, like every like 6 months, every like couple of years. We'd be like really sunny, she'd walk around with an umbrella. Bare people looking at her like, what?
Yeah. But it's a natural thing though in Philippines, isn't it?
Yeah. Or like they'll like cover up, or like they don't want to come out because it's like too hot.
Yeah, it's a colonial thing.
It definitely is.
Who knows about the umbrella hats I have? Because it's like a band that goes.
I think I might have seen that as well, man. But what's sick is the Raiden one, the rice field hat.
Oh,
the rice field hat.
Oh, is that from Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. But also like was it Sunshine who was using?
Oh
it
yeah. Oh,
so if you guys don't know, like Maharlika, there's a Filipino called Sunshine. She's a sick singer, but in one of the videos, she's like got one of those hats, and she looks sick.
We need to dress up in our culture for our event.
For where?
Oh, yeah.
for our event.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
have to.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna come with the
Oh,
what's
that'd
the
be so
dress
sick.
is called with the
Yeah.
Gonna wear the poofy thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
oh I forgot it's called.
Is it not Barong Tagalog, right?
Oh,
We're on
for the
to
men,
that
yeah.
for the men,
And
but
then
for the
Barong
women
is
have
for
the
Do
the
we have
puffy
those
sleeve.
dresses and then it's got like all
Do you-
the tops?
Do you know
and
what's
the, like,
what's
the
cute? So my friend's getting married in my friend AK is getting married in Barcelona. Shout out AK Marina, and they've asked my partner who's white, because we all grew up together, to he wants to be a groomsman, and he called me up. My partner called me up, and he was just like, "Guess what? I'm going to be a groomsman." I was like, "Oh!" And then he was like, "And I have to wear a barong." And I'm like, "Oh!"
So
So
cute.
just to see,
Just
like my
cute.
mister, who's like
Yeah.
English, Irish, and
wanting
then
to
like
embrace the culture.
yeah, and then just like,
sick.
and I was doing these measurements the other day, like sending them off to like friends in Philippines so that they can get it made, and I'm
Oh,
like,
and then they said, yeah, that's so
I'm
cute.
gonna wear barong.
It makes me happy to see people outside of our culture.
Isn't
embrace our
it?
culture. Like, I remember, like one of, like I've got a friend, I've got a friend. Her mum is Filipino, but then like, her stepdad is Nigerian. So I remember I ate there, and then she offered, "Do you wanna, like, I've got some jollof fries and a double."
That's like the idea you have of like having different cultures.
Exactly.
The food
Just
would
Yeah,
slap
it would be
on
wicked.
one plate
Yeah.
would slap.
Yeah, that'd be wicked.
It's like in a lot of so like growing up, like my best friend in secondary school was like SDA, and like obviously I feel like in SDA churches, like Seventh-day Adventists, you have like a lot of like Filipino and Jamaicans, and it'd be like when you bring the food, it'd be like loads of Filipino food, loads of Jamaican food, or like loads of African food as well, and you're just like eating it all, and it's just I feel like the mix of
Yeah.
cultures.
With J Cage, Teddy, and Jade, I know that you guys deal with mental health, whether that be professionally or personally. Like, can you guys tell me a little bit more about that, if you're comfortable with it?
I would say I was going through it, or still going through some mental health at the moment. It's just you get days where you just can't get out of bed, and if you're on medication, that doubles the lack of motivation to get out. So I find it hard. But I don't know. When I talk about it, it's hard to explain.
Does your poetry help you express that, or is it something that you don't touch on your?
It suppresses my poetry. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I would call Meta. Oh, yo, let's do some bars. But then when I'm not in the mood and I'm just there, I'm just like, oh, like there's no motivation. You know what I mean? I get clouts of motivation.
Yeah.
Waking up.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad I have so many good. I got a good support system around me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
that's
some
what's
really
nice.
sick friends, man. They're
Yeah,
like, ride or die,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a difficult one to talk about.
yeah.
You see, I was all eloquent earlier, but now when you talk about something like this,
Yeah, I understand.
it just clouds my mind, and your creativity just goes down, and
Do you have advice for anyone?
it's hard because not everyone has it. Friends, like your closest friends will be like, "Yo, Ed, let's go for a walk." Even a simple thing like that, and not even talking.
I feel like in this world, your friends are the one thing that could get you through anything.
Yeah. I don't even call them friends no more. You know how
Family.
exactly.
Family, for real.
Like my god brother, he'll just turn up. Don't want him to turn up, but he comes to my yard and he's like, "Come on, let's watch some football at least." You know what I mean?
That's beautiful.
And I was like, "Oh fuck," but okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, if this podcast didn't happen, I'll probably still be in that rut. Do you know what I mean? But I think I'm slowly getting out of it. I just need some more time. Isn't the answer, because when you need more time, you're still in that rut.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that you need that get up and go. So friends and get up and go. Those two you need to work on. Just like a simple I need to get my leg out of bed. I know it sounds so simple, but at least you're motivated to do something to get out of bed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, no, I've definitely had my fair share of like mental health, and I think when someone who hasn't experienced like the anxiety or the schizophrenia or the bipolar or ADHD or whatever you're going through, they think it's just you can just get over it, like you have medication and you get over it, but it's a whole journey. It's and it's cyclical as well. It's like anytime it can hit you and you have no idea. I think it's really important to try and find the triggers. What
exactly.
could
underlying reasons as
well.
well.
I mean, because like one of the triggers is being around the wrong people. We touched up on it earlier. I'm very, very creative, and I went from like DJing and traveling, and then doing this, throwing a rave here, doing that, and then
triggers is putting too much on your plate, isn't it?
Triggers is just kind of like whatever kind of
because that was one of my triggers, putting too much on my plate.
You overload, you feel overwhelmed. Another trigger is like being around the wrong people. You're telling your dreams and you're creative, but you're around people that just want to, like you said,
accepting it.
No, you won't make it. It's just, why don't you want to climb up the corporate ladder? I mean, you're past 30. Why don't you have kids and
why
stuff?
Don't you have a house?
And you're being around that people, stuff like that. But I have found, and by no means am I a professional. I'm medically trained or anything like that. I'm just going from my experience. But what I was prescribed when I was severely depressed, suicidal, and like I was even sectioned to a mental hospital. And was put on a lazapine, clonazepam, and all of that, and it zombified me. It completely zombified me, and I went into the mental hospital, and I thought, I saw it as a retreat, and I thought, do you know what? Okay, so I'm here. At least I've got my own room. It's en suite. It's en suite. I've got my own bathroom. I thought, you know what? I'm being fed breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, cool. Nice little garden. But it's so mad because, like, how other people see, because they're like, you're in a mental hospital. But I'm there, like, writing, I'm meditating. But even the nurses and doctors were like, what's she doing? Why are you changing, like, so many times a day? And I'm like, well, because I was working out. Now I'm sweaty. Now I've got to change into my house clothes. Later on I'm going to change into my pajamas. Exactly. But they saw that as, like, manic. They see it as, like, because, like, when... Usually people, when they go in there,
they don't act like that.
They don't act like that.
So
but I'm like, exactly. But I'm still doing my thing. I'm like, you're not going to drag me down, because I know my mind. I'm still gonna. That's what's that thing that you were saying about me, that like I'm gonna do whatever the f I want to do.
Yeah, because you would like I've not even got out of bed, and you've already done like 5 things on your story. Like,
roller skate.
Yeah, because like there's like 2021. Yeah, so I'm in bed, like I'm doing nothing. I'm doing jack shit. I'm like unemployed. And like Jade, like it's inspiring, you know, because like I'll be like watching my story, and you've like gone gym, you've done rollerblading, like you've taken a roller skates out, you're taking your nieces to school. And I'm like, right, you've done this by 11 or 9.
You just come out of REM sleep,
bro. I just come out of REM sleep, man. I'm just trying to figure out how to make tea right now. Like, doing so many things. So like, that's what seeing people do that, and just like get up and go, like you said. Having a routine, I think, keeps your mind.
Definitely routine.
And like, JK, you had like a podcast on men's mental health and stuff like that. That's really cool. I like.
Thank you.
And so I want to like, have you experienced mental health issues before?
A lot. Like I'm still. The thing is that even as much as I physically look fine right now, but as in I don't look like I'm going through stuff. Like, I'm going through stuff as well. I'm going through stuff. I feel like I've conditioned myself to hold myself in a certain way, and I guess it's also because I don't want to say pressures of social media and that but I do feel that I've already created an image of myself that I don't want to ruin for myself, because it can ruin the representation of like my brand. You know what I mean? So I'll be transparent about stuff. So I do open up to my mum sometimes, and I think that's one of the things that helped me about my mental health. And I called her like sometime last year, And there was a phase where, there was some time last year, like right before I shot my Hooding story video, when I said, look, like I'm at a stage in my life where, like I'm actually not scared to just financially get by, as long as I'm paying for studio, as long as I'm paying for my video shoots, because like I can't put a price on that. But at the same time, even though that's what I believe in, it's also the practicality, like, like sometimes I've got to pay for this and that, you know what I mean? So my mom said to me, look, Jay, you got to look after your mental health, because that we have like a history of mental health within our family. Like some of my family members actually got sectioned, right? And it's a thing, because that like I started to, before that, it got to a phase where I realized, I need to think more logically, which I think is one of the things that like pressures of being a male, for example, like having to think more logically and being a problem solver, right? And which I still believe, like it's a good thing, but at the same time I do feel like I put pressures on myself sometimes. And one thing is that when you try to do so many things at a time, it ends up becoming hard to do anything. I swear to you, like it becomes difficult to even get out of bed out of bed sometimes. Real talk. And the thing is that you see, like you said something like triggers, innit? And I get triggers sometimes as well, and I'm still trying to discover what that underlying reason is, and I'm worried that it will affect my personal relationships, for example, even with my friends. Sometimes last week Friday, sorry, I went to reach out to my friends in secondary school to see if maybe I can find an underlying reason for why I do certain things, like why I act certain things that's not me. Because these lot have known me for a long time. I'd say, look, I've been doing certain things that is not me. Like maybe because you guys have known me for a long time, like are you able to identify something about me that I may not realize about myself? Because we do so many things that we do so many things that may affect other people that we don't realize that we don't realize ourselves, innit? So that's why one of the things I can say is practice in the morning, and is under your discretion, like practice gratitude. Like 100. we all have something to be grateful about. And that's something that my mom told me as well, like practice gratitude. Like even say 5 things that you're grateful as soon as you wake up in the morning, and make it a habit. Make it a habit. And I'm slowly doing that.
Trust.
Because real talk, as a creative, like one thing that's so difficult is as a creative, like one thing that's difficult is knowing that like London's an expensive place to live. But the thing is that we don't want to live our life and regret that we didn't really put our heart. It's so good getting a job that pays you more, blah blah blah, and being in a career and being socially accepted. But at the end of the day, like what is it that you want to do, and what we want to do? Like what I want to do, I accept that it is financially taxing, right? You know what I mean? But then like when I think about like I'm not gonna say what age I'm turning, but like I fear regretting that I didn't try over. Like I'm not even scared of failing. Like that's how mad it is. Like I'm not scared to fail in front of people. I'm not scared to like. Just to let you guys know that there was one point within the beginning of this year where I started to question my mental health. I've started my first event called Kage and Colours, which is a paint and sip party plus poetry event. Now, I remember,
so big, man. You had your first event, didn't you?
It
looks so heavy. I want to go. I want to come.
Thank you so much. And one thing I can say is that I did it at a very risky time, out of curiosity. Like one of my flaws is doing things that are dangerous, but out of curiosity.
That's me. That's impulsive.
I'm very curious. I'm one of those people I have to. If I'm curious about something, even if I know it's bad for me, not evil, but I still want to do it just so I know what it is. So I decided,
and also just so you're not like, oh, what if, like,
But
sometimes the best things in life happen when you go for stuff that you're like, okay, it's like risky, or you don't know if it's gonna turn out good. Because then you know when you get to the end, if it was bad, you're like, okay, that's on me. But if it turns out good, you're
You
like,
need
I
that-
would never have.
That right
got
amount
there.
of fear as
Yeah.
well to be like, do you
I
know
swear
what,
to
fuck
you.
it, I'm gonna overcome that. Let's give it a go, man.
I swear to you, like one thing that I'll tell you, and this is a message for all the creatives out there, is that I've invested thousands of pounds into my music studio time. I still ain't made nothing back here. I still ain't made like anything back. But then when I came up with the idea of Kage and Colours, that's when I thought, yo, this is gonna be the driving force, which is gonna start my journey of actually seeing some returns in it.
Yeah.
So I took the risk of promoting it in January at a time where it is financially difficult for a lot of people right now. But then I was just curious, like, yo, like, is this really gonna do? I started contemplating whether to reduce the price. But then like my friend
Came through.
Yeah, like my friend convinced me like why it makes sense to charge it at this
That price,
at this price, and it fully made sense. And then when the event came, like I'm not gonna it's sold out, and but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm still not in profit. But yeah, like one thing
It's a start
is
of
that,
a project. It's
and one thing is that I can't put a price on the experience. Like it was a beautiful experience, and I seeing a lot of people that I care about come together, and it's wonderful, and I'm never gonna.
You should be proud.
For real, and like just seeing like people like come together and love each other is.
Oh, Jay, man.
I've got tissue, bro, man.
Thank you, bro.
It looked like the
No,
best
honestly.
vibes. Like people
Yeah.
creating art, like
Yeah,
listening
yeah,
to
real
music,
talk.
having drinks, vibing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
And I feel
thank
like
you.
your presence
Thank
in
you
like
so
the
much,
poetry
thank
and
you.
like the music community,
Thank you.
like helped you make that event, because then it was like all your brethren and all the people like that love you pulling through and that love each other pulling through.
Yeah,
So
man.
Roots. Yeah,
without
did
that
something
like
different.
presence you've like cultivated in the music and poetry scene, you wouldn't have had that kind of event like fall into place.
Yeah. And like you see what you were saying earlier on with like mental health, like things that we could back. You know, sometimes just hearing the voice of certain people I care about. Like in January when I was really feeling down, like sometimes to just hear the voice of certain people, just like even me not having to talk about what I'm going through, like even me just hearing the voice of certain people just like made me feel better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm so grateful that you just like put it out there, like people need
100.
to talk to each other, and hopefully after this, like you guys can hopefully feel like you can talk to me and each other, because as creatives, man, we need to like pull resources or just share information and experience, because like what you did, man, you should be so proud of yourself, because as an event, me and Teddy do poetry and Shoobs, man, it's hard putting on an event.
I'm not gonna lie to you, and the thing is, even if it's profitable, like even if you know it's profitable, like there's certain things in your mind that you can't control. Like I'm at work here, just working, and my mind can't help but think about certain things that I don't want to think about. You know what I mean?
Like some self-doubt stuff that like
like one thing is that we all, as different people, we all do things differently. Like I understand that one of my flaws is I overthink and I'm a perfectionist, and but I'm slowly learning how to turn it into a strength, right?
Yeah, man. Turn to your superpower, man. All of this.
But one thing I recommend to everyone is please check on your people. I swear.
Innit?
Like,
Show up.
Yeah.
Show
Like,
up.
please.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
The reason why I say check on your people, because I'm gonna tell you one thing, like me, I'm on a journey of following my goals, is that I'm known in my peers as the one that's always work. I never I haven't been to a lot of parties or going out that much, because I've always at work. And then I realized that one of my close friends, this was a couple years ago, I hadn't seen him in a while, and then he opened up to me about something 2 months before that I met up with him, that he was really going through something, and I had this guilt that like I wish that I was there, and the fact that I've always been so busy doing work. I felt like this is pushed that people that I love and care about away from me. You know what I'm saying? And like till this day, I still have that guilt, bro.
You kind of excommunicate yourself from people, and I think it's always important to kind of like touch back in, like when you remember to. And sometimes like communication is a two-way process. When you think, this person hasn't reached out to me, but sometimes they're thinking the same, so you should just reach out whenever in doubt, and just like, this guy hasn't replied back to me, oh, maybe it's my turn to like
Yeah.
to go contact them.
Yeah.
And sometimes, yeah, you're right. Like a call means a lot. Even just like
even a message like how just check on you.
Reaching out.
Yeah, reaching out.
I swear to you.
Thank you so much for like.
Because one thing I definitely say is that like I remember one time I opened up to my friends about love and relationships once, and then they all said like Jay, I would have never thought that you'd be the type of person to do it because you come across as a very masculine, tough guy, and I explained that I mean I appreciate where you're coming from, but we're all human at the end of the day. Like we're all human beings at the end of the day, and I don't ever want to not show any emotional consideration. You get me? And one thing I can also say as a male, that one thing that I learned is as much as men that we want to be logical and come up with a logical solution, whether it be an argument or whatever it is. It's always important to always show some emotional understanding to the opposite sex, whether they're your girlfriend, whether they're your friend, you know what I'm saying, your sister.
And to not feel shame in showing your emotions as well as a man.
Yeah, I swear to you.
Yeah, emotional intelligence is something that gets overlooked, and it's so important. Like you were saying, in relationships, like with your partners, with your family,
with yourself as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Trying to suppress your emotions, especially I know it's really hard for men to talk about their emotions. Trying to suppress that for yourself is so hard, because then you lose that narrative where you're being able to be there for yourself and accept that okay, I'm feeling this way. But the more you suppress that, the more you feel caged in.
I feel privileged as being a woman, because it's so natural for us to talk and to communicate and to share and be like, do you know what? and to express and cry and
it helps. I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't go to my friends and be like, XYZ, this is what I'm going through, cry.
Sometimes I'll be like all the time with my sister, and we'll meet up.
You guys are so thick as thieves. I mean, you definitely know that you're sisters, but
if you see us together,
I've never known two sisters that tight.
A lot that people say when they see us together.
Do you look like sisters?
We do look alike as well. But when we get together, sometimes I'll just look at her and she's having a bad day and I'm just playing music and that's it. We're both crying and Celine comes out and Whitney comes out.
No, I love those sessions on your story.
Balcony sessions. We try to do
the Celine Dion thing. I love that shit.
I tell you, TikTok, been watching my sister-in-law on our Instagram. It was Jade and Mimi's balcony session. We would just get together and we would just talk about our stuff and what we're going through, and then all of a sudden it would just turn into this sing-song, and then people are...
And you feel lighter after. You feel lighter.
100%. And so with your podcast, I remember when you first came out of your podcast and I watched all your episodes. I loved it, man. I loved it because I was just like, we need to normalize men talking about
feeling
and deep in their feelings and just go
because so many men, people I've been with, friends, they're I'm so how do you get through when you're sad? How do you get through it? And they're just I don't think about it. I'm but what do you mean you don't think about it?
It affects them later on.
Yeah, and you you internalize it because you're not thinking about it and you're not verbalizing it, sharing it with people, helping alleviate some of that some of that weight from your shoulders, and then you it just builds up. And I'm how do you not think about your problems? How do you get through your problems just by being okay, I went through that, fair enough. Keep it stepping. It's. Yeah, it's crazy.
See, even you trying to saying you were talking to your old childhood friends, maybe they can help identify what you might be even having that want to try and get to know what you're exactly feeling, and if what's hurting your character, and to me I'm emotional intelligence there. That's what I'm, because you want to. It's you want to heal. You want to heal whatever your trauma was, or what you want to, and you want to identify what exactly you're feeling. Whereas it's just such a passing thing, and for guys to be that's fine. I'm sad. I'm not sad. I'm but our range of emotions is the spectrum is mad. It's not just I'm happy and then I'm sad. It's so where are you on that spectrum?
And that can happen to anyone. You see, when dealing with situations or especially when you get into a situation where you don't know what to do. I swear to you, there was one moment where I was put in a situation last month where I really, really did not know what to do. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I would have never thought that I would have done this, innit? Like, I proper cried in my bed, innit? And I remember I called my HR manager and like I explained to her, innit? And yeah, I thought I respect. But like one thing I can definitely say was I communicated, innit? Like I said, listen, I'm going through this. I'm known at my work as someone who's always positive. Like I can't. I've got that repu. I know, I'm aware that people have that perspective on me of someone being very positive and with a contagious positive energy. But then I told him, look, I can't let people see me like this, innit? But I am open to talking to people about this later on. But I want to do this first, innit? You know what I mean?
Did they grant you like a day off or something?
Yeah.
They had to do that recently as well.
Did, yeah.
Yes, see, I feel like companies now are
Trying to
catching
on.
on.
Yeah,
I recognise.
They recognize mental health, and you see one thing that because in my podcast last year we had a conversation about culture, right? And me and my boys from different cultures, and we spoke about how the generation before us, like our family members who came from the Philippines, mental health was a lot different from them because they had, I know it sounds mad, but they had less of a trace to even think about mental health. They probably didn't even think.
I was going to touch on this.
Didn't even know what mental health meant.
Because when you said your mom was like really supportive and like you talked to her about your feelings, I was like, that is so nice, because I feel like a lot of Filipinos can't relate, because like I feel like a lot of Filipino parents don't really understand mental health, because growing up their parents didn't understand it and they were just on survival mode in the Philippines. Just I feel like they didn't have a chance to like be like, okay, like what is this I'm feeling? Like I'm depressed, I'm like anxious, because they're just surviving, like they're just trying to like get through it. So then like now like having to deal with our generation and like their children, and we're like coming to them like being anxious with like panic attacks or like depression and stuff, and then they don't know what it is. Like I remember I went to my mum one time about I was like having panic attacks at uni, and she was like, why are you having that, like what does that mean? And I'm like, I want to know too, like I want to know what that means too.
I think my parents, so when I was in hospital, like I was in like quite a few, that's when they learned what mental health was. And then that's when my best friends, my close friends, all were like, oh, okay, this is what it's like for my boy to be in this kind of condition. And yeah, man, I think I appreciate going to Eastbourne Mental Health Centre, because it was less regimented compared to the hospitals here in London. So people, like I started smoking when I was in mental health, and then I stopped smoking when I got out of mental health. And I realized that the more freedom you have when you're going through some stuff, like have your daily routine, it clears your mind. Especially in the back of my head, I was like, no, I'm not getting sectioned, fam. Not getting sectioned. I was like, no, I'm good. I was showing all the doctors and nurses that I'm active, doing my thing. And then getting out of it, it's fine. Then I relapsed. Then I was in the London mental health. And then that's where it all just shattered, because it was more regimented. People had to have time to smoke.
Do you feel stuck? Like,
Oh, mate, your freedom's taken away, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, this is the time you have to get out. And I remember being held down by 3 nurses just to get injected. Because also, I suffer from hypermania. And it was just like, whoa, like what happened? And it conked me out. It zombified me. Lazapine.
It's traumatizing, man.
Did you guys feel like
it's traumatizing?
like prisoners there?
I felt like a prisoner in the London hospitals. But in Eastbourne, it was like, oh, you going out? All right, cool. Just come back in an hour's time, all right?
Yeah, I had that freedom, but you had to prove to that. But I was moved, like, it's so mad. It is what you see in like films and stuff. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm actually here. Like I was so in Springfield, and then transferred to Nelson Hospital, which was a lovely like hospital, but the living room, like that whole wall is double-sided. So well, it's clear actually. It's a clear window. So all the doctors are there, and then the doctors are there just like assessing you, and watching you, and they're noting and putting anything that you do. So if you react on stuff,
they're writing it down.
And the racism that I experienced from the time that I was sectioned made me want to lash out even more. Yeah, because I went during COVID, and this was against my will, mate. How I got sectioned is a whole different story. But yeah, it was during like COVID. So when I come in and I walked in and I had my little suitcase already, the kind of people who were already in there, they were looking at me going, who the hell is this? They thought I was a doctor or a nurse. And I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm here with you guys. Yeah, and then they were looking at me and they were like, no, you're not. I had this, and being Asian, COVID times, everything was back, China doesn't matter who, I was getting it in. And so I would...
Did you get that from the people, from the staff?
No, from the people that were there. And obviously I'm like, okay, Jade, like you're staying, just take it. And I heard through the grapevine, if I behaved for 2 weeks, then I would just be let out. So I was like, try not to, you know. I had someone come and shit in my shower. This racist lady, she fucking shat in my shower because we weren't allowed to lock our doors. I had, I had people gang up on me. Like I was like,
the whole time you're trying not to react.
Yeah, and I'm not trying. Yeah. And then it was like one of the last days, and then this. I'm just talking, and I'm like, I know I've spoken to the doctors. I already know I'm going to be getting out. It's the last night before I'm getting out. And the racist old lady, this white lady, who like even took my friend Shafi's jacket, and she's Pakistani, and wrote derogatory on her 400-pound sheep coat, like shearling coat, and wrote like racist terms on it. She even took my Bible, started scribbling in it and stuff, and I was just livid. But I thought, all right, just calm down. You're going to be getting out. We're going to be getting out. And then I was talking to just a friend that I made, and it was during the night. And there's like a little, I don't know why we're allowed this, but you can make your own coffees. And so she made herself. This lady bought herself some water, made herself coffee, and luckily I was wearing like a jumper, but she came up behind me and I turned around and she dashed it, and I luckily went like that, it still kind of sunk through, and I just lost it, and I took off my top because it was just, I was just like, it was burning, and I was like, did that just happen? And I just saw red, and I rugby tackled her and just started punching. I got her on the floor and I just started punching. All that rage of everything that just came out. Yeah, that came out.
Everything
and
you've been trying to
then I got transferred to another hospital.
It's funny that I got into a fight as well with man. It's mad. What is that?
Man, that's when I was like, no one is fucking with me now. Nah, man. I've been through too much, man.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. No, I can't wait, because even after this, I know we're going to continue talking.
You can release all behind the scenes.
I think
exclusive information.
The conversations that happen after this podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to also talk about Maharlika. Big up Chris Reyes.
Chris.
The best dance crews have Filipinos in them, big up. Jabberwockies, Kinjers, all that. I started doing poetry, and then I get a DM from Chris Reyes, and he's like, I'm doing a Filipino artist creative platform, and I want you to join this project with me. And I was like, okay, cool. He hollered at me like time ago, and then it was not until like maybe nearly a year after, then he said, yeah, I got the funding, you good to go. It's like, okay, cool. Just like around February time. But like he just said like, yo, you're going to be partnered with other Filipino creatives. The idea is like you create a work from scratch, and you work for 2 weeks, and you get to film, you get a video from it after those 2 weeks. I was like, okay, cool. And I had the best experience of my life. Big up Jasmine Saulo, who was my partner at the time. Dancer, awesome dancer. Originally from Australia, Filipino. living in Willesden but works in Manchester. So obviously I managed to work on that, and I managed to work on Wave 2 as a videographer, which I then told Jade about, and then you applied. I just wanted to know like your experience with Maharlika and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. So with Maharlika, I kind of had an idea of what to expect, just because from Meta's experience and what he produced. I loved his short video, so I knew his short video had, but I didn't know the details and what life lessons were going to be learned. It really taught me a lot about myself. We spent a couple of days in a theatre with a theatre practitioner who was absolutely amazing, and she showed us techniques, really opened my eyes. There is one thing that really overwhelmed me, and it was imposter syndrome. I was surrounded by creatives who I had felt and would known as well, that had been in their field and had that discipline to go for their masters in dance or film, or they're now teaching, and around the same age. And I'm still trying to figure things out at the age of 33. I'm still. And I don't feel ashamed about that at all. But being in that space, I was overwhelmed with the talent. And so then, I felt like I didn't really belong. And so the insecurity started to creep. And I was just like, how can I do this? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I think it's maybe it was too premature for me to come into this space. And then just because with spoken word, I'd only been doing it for... And how can you say, how can you measure? And so even when we went in a circle and it was like, oh, so what do you do? I was like, I'm a creator. I like creating with everything I do. Yeah, with everything that I do. Like, I love creating. I mean, I have no idea. I would consider myself an artist, but and this is what I love to do. And yeah, it really opened my eyes. And Chris is an absolutely amazing. He's a G, a pioneer, a leader.
He's always got a project going.
Yeah, and I knew Chris from way back when we were younger. Not very close, but just in the scene, in the dancing scene. Yeah, in the Fili scene, and just. Do you know what I love about Chris? And he was always a dancer, a choreographer, and he never stopped doing it. I'm sure he maybe had his breaks and stuff. And just to see a Filipino, because it's difficult for us, especially when parents want us to be nurses and doctors and lawyers and have that big high-end job, to actually go, do you know what? I'm still going to follow suit, man, with my career. And just to now he's like, it's coming into fruition. Like he's paving the way, and I can't thank him enough for the opportunity. And because of that, I was able to make a short film. And it's like with you, like with your music videos and your songs and our poetry and our shows, like that's what we're leaving behind. I know we're not getting our financial returns now. We're leaving a legacy,
and we're making stuff for people to consume and like relate to, and the stuff we're making makes people feel something, makes you feel something. Even if it's not like paid, you're not getting money, you're not getting anything from it. It's about like connecting with people and emotion.
Yeah.
And
it's like the experience of a memory. So like, I can't put a price on this.
Yeah.
I can't put a price on the sacrifice that I made. Like, this is something that's gonna live with me forever.
Yeah.
It's mad. What else was I gonna say?
Can I touch on the imposter syndrome?
Go for it.
I feel like, so when I was writing poetry in Brum, it was kind of like, you just pull up, open mic, say something you've written like, I don't know, the night before, like a couple of nights before, come into London, and then like when I performed at BYOB for the first time, and then people were like, where did you come from? Like, are you a like spoken word artist? Like, what are you? I was like, bro, I'm just writing about my feelings. I'm just saying it out loud. I don't know what I am. And I think that was like a really big thing in London, is like, when you're a creative, it's like people pursue that like very passionately. And I feel like I never kind of got exposed to that in Brum. So coming here, people are like, what? Like, are you a creative? Are you like, what are you? And I would always feel a bit weird being like, oh, I'm a spoken word artist. Especially because I feel like growing up, I was like kind of half a creative, half like quite academic, like really into science. So I do midwifery, and I feel like having that like split in like my passions, knowing like my life purpose, but also knowing that I am a creative at heart. It's like it's really hard to. I think it's really hard to find that balance, and also to not feel imposter syndrome in both aspects. So, yeah.
It's glad that you brought it up, because I have a nursing and your midwifery thing, because like that's something like obviously all of us know about, in terms of like we have like a family member doing it already. Obviously like it's a really good calling as well. Like how do you balance that, and do you see yourself continuing or like kind of dabbling in both for now until?
Yeah, it's hard because I think like even like growing up, I knew I was always like very, very creative, but I also did well like academically, and like my mom and my dad obviously wanted me to like just be a doctor.
They wanted me to be a doctor too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I think trying to find that balance, I think I lost my creativity a lot when I was in my first degree in Cardiff, because a lot of the people I was hanging around with, I think it was kind of very sciencey, very like finance. So like I didn't like write poetry for like 4 years, so it's like a really long time. And then when I came to London, I started like writing poetry again. I used to like make YouTube videos and stuff, and like do like video editing. And I think like it's hard to, the balance is hard, because I'm like, hey, midwifery is my purpose, and it's also something that's going to give me like financial stability, and I love it. Like I really find purpose in it. But I think for my soul, in terms of like what I feel like, you know, those like, I saw this thing, or like one of my friends posted things like, surround yourself or put yourself in places, surround yourself with people that make life feel colourful. And I feel like being around creative people makes my life feel colourful. And it's finding that balance. Like when in the summer I was doing loads of like poetry stuff, having to go back into midwifery, I was like, like, I don't know if I want to be here. And then when I get into like midwifery, I'm like, I love this. And then I start falling off the poetry scene. I haven't been to a poetry event in like time. And then I'm like, I feel like it's really hard to balance which world I belong in, because I belong in both. But I'm not in both completely. Kind of the same way as like, we're like too Filipino to be British, but then we're too British to be Filipino. It's that kind of like, I feel like I always find myself throughout my whole life straddling a line between like two identities, and I'm like, most people kind of just fit in one, and I'm always like in the middle of it, and there's a really like I struggle with identity a lot because of that stuff.
Just create whoever you want to be.
I think that's something I'm finding easier, because growing up I really struggled with identity, because I'm like, I can't identify with either, because I'm not enough of either. But
But you've got a thing. You've got a really good bar about imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why
I know him.
Jade knows me too much. So for anyone listening, with imposter syndrome, the only imposter is the syndrome. But I think also like whether you guys are creating or not, like I think when it comes to poetry, the poetry scene is always going to be there. Just people dip in and out all the time. So whether you're trying to like focus on work, or you're trying to do midwifery, or you're just taking time out, like the scene's always going to be there. It doesn't make you any less of a poet. I mean, I feel like I've been in it full time since 2020, but I am trying to this year spend less time in the scene, because I need to focus on financial things. But and yeah, like I'm creating stuff outside of poetry anyway, in terms of like trying to build up my YouTube channel. So I think when it comes to creating is a back and forth process, where like you have to like be a recluse for a bit to create your art, and then that's when it's ready, then you share it, and then you just promote it for a bit, then you have to go back out to kind of like make more art.
I was talking to Sean about this, Humble Sean.
Yeah, Humble Sean, big up
on
Humble Sean. Yeah, new poet, you'll love him.
Yeah, that's really good.
Big
up.
Mika's part of the new wave. He said like,
I'm literally like voice noting him. Yesterday.
And there was a point, I think in December, November or something, where I was like, I was pulling up a lot of poetry events, because that's when I was like really getting into London scene. He was there all the time, and we was having this discussion, because he was like, like I'm feeling burnt out. He's doing like a 9 to 5, pulling up to poetry events, like which go from like 6 to 10 or whatever, then going home, and then back to 9 to 5, then another poetry event. And he was like, I was like, we were like talking about it, like you need to take time out to kind of, because you need to create, you need to like process what you're like absorbing as well. You can't just be like always on the scene, and then kind of just but it is good for inspiration.
He's got a sick set. He did he performed at Poets Palace, which is in Crystal Palace, and it's like the music version of it, and he did a set to music.
Is it?
Yeah, it's an event. If you want to go to a poetry event where you want to do your poetry over music,
Yeah.
Poets Palace, like their
Poetry
version.
over music's actually so.
Yeah, groove
Yeah.
verse and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
I still need to go to Grooveverse. But can I just say,
Yeah.
just now that we're just talking about and just being in the room and creating and stuff, because I've had to go back into like a full-time job, and I've had to go into, because I want a flat and I want to move in with my mister, but I can't. Yes, it's a wicked goal, but I was so scared because I haven't written poetry in ages, and like I know that it's so consuming when you're doing 40 hours a week doing something that you really don't really. I'm so grateful for the job, don't get me wrong, I am, and especially like it is home based, so I don't have to spend time on travelling and save money on food and whatnot. However, it does consume a lot of your time. But being around you guys, man, I want to go home and write. I want to write.
You want to do a rap session after this?
And do you know what? And then,
I'm doing
and
cypher
then
as well, bro.
and do you know what I was thinking as well? I was like, no, we need to create like a song or something, a music video, just have all these strong Filipinos and just have like this one sick short film video and stuff. Like I'm gonna pull it out there, manifest, all right? I'm putting it out there. No, I'm not. I can. We all have a verse each in it. We all have a little section. And we go, it's coming.
This is why I love hanging out with creatives. Because you're like ideas.
Yeah, that's it. Let's
All
go.
ideas all the time. Also, one thing, right? Jade is an energy vibe creator. So, whenever like after a poetry event, right, she just have the speaker and play instrumentals, and then we just filmed I filmed that first cypher, I think, after YA's like headline at BYOB 2021, and I was like, bro, I need to do more of these. And then we did a second one at Croydon,
Everyone's like looking
Rohan's
forward
one,
to it. Yeah.
and I was like, I need to do another one for this year,
Yeah.
but more planned rather than impromptu.
Yeah.
Where like just have the speaker will play in or whatever, and then just film you guys spit.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Like when I first started going to the open mic nights at BYOB, everyone kind of just goes home afterwards. And I'm like, what? Wait. We've just watched this banging show. Yeah, we've just watched this. Why were you not like congregating? And I get it because it's on a Monday night. People got work.
People got work.
Yeah. And I understood. And I thought, no, but if there's music.
Yeah. And
So
I
I
feel
took
like that's
out
when
my
you're the most charged as well, because you're like all the
I got my
energy.
little wireless speaker. I started playing some instrumentals, and I was just like, and then no one wanted to jump on, so I was just like, shit, I need to start writing some bars. So I just started looking at some poetry, and I was like,
I'll send you the link.
and then honestly, I'm not even joking, it was so hard. Then everyone started to jump on, and then like it kind of became a thing that like, who's got the speaker? Jade's got the speaker. Okay, Jade again, play the instrumental. And it like one time, this one came late, but you was there at the show, but you were just there talking, still at Box Park. But we had walked all the way from Box Park, Wembley, all the way to the station, and we were just freestyling, and people, like crowds were joining. And then we had, I'm not joking, we had about 50, 60 people surrounding us, like looking at us, and they're like, oh, girl can spit. And then there was another, Elsa Rose was there.
Elsa, but they had two strangers that come and spit bars as well.
Yeah, the people just jumping on. It was hard. It was
Check it out on my channel, innit?
Yeah.
I'll plug it. Yeah, but I'm just gonna check off some other things. Like I wanted to talk about your headline and see how you felt about headlining.
I loved it. I was so scared because so Diamond D, who hosts the Streatham Speaks, I met him. So basically, I have this friend Raz. He got me back into poetry this summer when I started getting close to him again. We pulled up to Luda Legacy when they were still doing the what's it called?
Say No More.
Say No More. Yeah. And we both do poetry. He does music as well. And we met Diamond D there, and I kept seeing him at like Brixton Sarah's, a couple of other events. And then he asked me one time, like after like a poetry, he was like, "Oh, what would you say about like headlining next month?" I was like, me. So I was like, of course I'm not going to say no to that. And then I went home, I was like messaging my friends from home. I was like, you're like, I can't do this, like I actually can't do this, because obviously I said yes because I'm not going to turn down an opportunity like that, but I was like, I can't, I don't know, it just feels weird identifying as an artist or identifying as like a spoken word artist or a poet. And they were like, no, Mika, like your writing is good, your poetry is sick, like you can do it. And I had like, I think it was like, I don't know, like a month or like over a month to write poetry for that. And then like I had like my ideas, but they just, I feel like the stress of like having to write for something like really turned it off. I was there literally the night before. I was like, right, I'm fucked. I'm actually fucked because I wanted to do 2 new ones and 2 old pieces. And like I was up until like 5 a.m. and I had to phone my friend and be like, okay, we need to talk through some stuff because I'm feeling stuck. Like words aren't coming out, and we were like just talking on the phone. And after that conversation, like got off the phone and just like banged out a piece of poem. And like, yeah, it was, the vibes are so nice.
Yeah, you did. You created a vibe. You created a vibe with that projector, and
and like my friends coming up from home as well. Like, yeah, and my best friends that I started like the whole poetry journey with, and like I found my love for poetry with them. And then my friend Raz as well, who like really brought me back into poetry. They were all there in the room. And then like having the support from like you guys and like seeing familiar faces, it was really nice.
So for Jade, like on the projector, it was just like friends and family.
Yes, I got so one of my poems is called Where Poetry Lies, and it's basically about like how sometimes we focus a lot on like trying to find the inspiration for like poetry or like music or whatever. And my friend sent me this one Snapchat one time being like, literally art is everywhere. Like it exists in every part of our life. So I put on Instagram like for everyone to send me videos of them like, I don't know, sad, happy with friends. And like people like sent me videos through, so I edited it together. And then I wrote the poetry for the video on top of it.
Oh, sick.
And then so then I performed it with the poetry in the background. So.
Sick.
Yeah, and people were like surprisingly vulnerable as well, like sending me like, so they'd send a video and they'd say the backstory behind it. And I was like, damn, like people, they were there. People are my inspiration for real.
Have you guys ever heard of each other's poetry yet?
I've seen yours because from Metas.
So I wanted to know. You haven't seen Teddy's, no?
On a birthday, my birthday probably.
You need to. It's coming in March. We're gonna. Well, me and Teddy
like
gonna
poetry
check
and
the
then
venue.
a party after. That's my
Yeah.
So trust it's lit. It's lit.
Because usually I just get on the bus home and I'm there like charged with like loads of inspiration. I'm like, I just want to like shake my ass.
Just off Jay's like literally idea, and me and Teddy kind of came like poetry events are too long. It's like 3 hours of poetry. It's a lot for anyone. So we thought if we do 2 hours and then we can just jam afterwards, because poets are always looking to jam afterwards before we get kicked out of the venue. So I thought, why don't we make that an event? And then me and Teddy like did poetry and Shoobs. So that's what it literally is. It's just a poetry event.
Is the next one your birthday one?
Yeah, and that one's the free one, and then everyone else.
Where's that
after.
Going to be?
Well, we need to look at the venues.
Do you change venues each time?
It has been recently.
Yeah, we're trying to look for a home. A nice little place where everyone can go.
Where? Anywhere? Like.
Yeah, it could be anywhere, preferably where everyone can get to, innit? Because it's gonna be sick. But hopefully you guys want to perform. And then I wanted to kind of like, if you guys want to like share a bit of your poetry to each other.
I knew you was gonna do
this. Because I think you guys do it.
Wait, don't give it to me. Yeah, I'm gonna do my phone now. I'll do a short one, but
because you've got your memoirs.
No, man. Mine's all about like quite deep stuff. You go first, Meta. Come now. You
go on. Yeah. Go start this off.
Shall I start off the cypher? Yeah. What poem do you want to hear? All right.
It's up to you, bro.
What are you feeling?
No, because Mika's got like some sensual poetry.
Do a sensual? I'll do a sensual one.
Yeah, okay, cool. Mika's one. Have you heard our shit, bro?
No.
It's sick.
No, not the sensual one.
Yeah, okay, cool. No, Jade's got some sensual stuff too.
No, I'll do a little short one.
We're all cozy in here as well, anyway.
Okay. All right, Miss Jones or You God SU?
Oh, I love you.
Okay, cool.
I've never heard of this.
So I flopped this one because I tried to perform it at your headline, but I kind of flopped some of the words. So
go on.
Baby plays with toys on her playpen. I pay her mind, but she can't tell me where her brain went. Ooh. Hearts and minds taken. I want to be painting. Reupholster your walls, interior decorating. Count down. I want to take a knee and a vow. Take a knee and a vow. Find letters to pen letters because I want to find words to write a vow. See where we go now. Curtsy. Bow. You, goddess, you. Have you had anyone kiss your wrists instead of your lips? Here's where your energy lives. These veins carry more than just hemoglobin and oxygen. They take away stress. They have opened and you have bled more than enough. You, goddess, you are enough. You, goddess, you. Have you had anyone held your hips or held your gaze? Here's where your majesty lives and where our names are prayed. These have me holding on to you while we get carried away. Coordinating our sacred merges that further are further. You, goddess, you are nurture. You goddess, you. Have you had anyone knelt before your lap? Here's where my attention sits. Before anything I serve. Here, I taste your essence and have my appetite whetted. Mouthing my prayer, I speak tongues in your presence. You, goddess, you are sublime. You embody miracles. I become time. For I'm forever putting my hands all over you. You imbue wealth in change. Change you bring is never short. It is never shadows under a door. Your goddess is chronic. Your hands are kept honest with goddess work. You find words before you find nerves. You kill with kindness and imbue worth. I'd confess your logic, but I wouldn't find earthly words to craft upon it. You, goddess, you are you. You, goddess, you. That's it. Yeah.
I'm feeling hot in here. God damn.
All right, cool. All right. Everyone's heard that one, man. Everyone's heard that one. But people haven't heard you guys. Like, I want people to put you on. I want to put you on to other people. So, who's next?
I can do a little short one.
All right, cool. If anyone's got one ready. All right, Mika. All right, listen. Okay, this is Mika's one.
But I'm going to do the essential. This is why
Come on,
this is the
Meeks.
first poem I'd written, for 4 years.
Jeez.
And I was like, okay,
sorry to any aunties or tios or my mum for listening to this podcast. I apologize for my poem.
I can't even link my mum this no more. Okay. Make your fingers dance for me, I said. And his fingers twirled, glided, and moved across the landscape, falling and tripping on flowers, the honey dripping. Lips meet lips, and thought of anything but of the moment slowly slipping. A space where colours dance, where pieces fall into their place and 1,000 words are spoken with a single glance. Honey in his eyes, milk in between my thighs. The colour red has a new meaning inside the way we rise. Climbing up a staircase of heartbeats and breaths until the edges of the world become a blur. Hands meeting hands, and in those moments forgetting everything we ever were. So come, show me where to take my seat. And I'll show you all the ways you can make this flower bloom and repeat. Fire within my core, softness in his touch, water in his sign. Baby, let me teach you how to make rain pour. A slight shower, or if you want an absolute downpour, a trail of kisses planted tenderly on flower beds. All the softest spots discovered without a map. Everything he dreams of can be found in between these legs as layers and layers of what makes us unfold and unwrap. Smoke on his lips, grips on my hips. The energy in this room more spiritual and psychedelic than any of your trips. Rolling on his highs, stars in our skies. The convo flowing between two, you see words are just souls in disguise. And this space right here, the one we hold, is where ego dies and soft energies rise.
Nice.
Hey, come on, that's me.
My soul.
That feel well.
You guys do it all sultry.
Come on.
Yours is all sultry and like beautiful. Mine's vulgar. But anyway, I've got
You're on the vulgar one.
Change up the vibe. Change up the vibe.
Come on,
No,
come on,
man,
Jade,
mine's
you
I think we're all getting a bit too hot in here.
mine's vulgar. I can.
You don't have to do
Like,
that one.
he's
It
a
can be
freak,
anyone.
he's my freak 7 days of the week. 24 hours, my guys, it's got to be week at the
That's how we be really feeling inside.
No, I'll do a different one, don't worry.
No, do whatever you want.
No, I can't do it. That's a few bars,
about,
isn't it?
like,
He
what
said, you stop eating
no.
animals. I told him, big mistake. This pussy I've got cooking is the best he'll ever taste.
Read up.
I can't do that one, can I?
No, I'll cut that out if you want.
No, I don't mind.
Yeah, no.
That's jokes.
That's jokes.
No.
Put his out in the comments.
Yeah. No, I'll do this one. It's an old one. It's very short. And it's called I'm Still DTF If You Are. I know. Okay. Before I strip, you have to know that my 4'11" stature is the home of many scars caused by decades of conscious and subconscious scratching. You see patches of dry, raw eczema rest in the crevices all over my landscape, and extensive use of steroid creams have left my skin mismatching. I am president of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, and my A cups still hold their shape, although you'll find on the left is the bigger one. We can stop now if you're more of a tits man, because this is your warning. I have none. My arse is jiggly from all the fat that I've accumulated over the 33 years, and just like my thunder thighs, displays a fair amount of orange peel. Guaranteed chunkiest calves you've seen on a woman with physical varicose veins, coloured blue, some bulging you can feel. Rolls of fat have now replaced my once toned abs, but for you, I can unnaturally suck in and fake it. I won't hold it against you if you say no, but I have to ask, do you still want to see me naked? Because I'm still TTF, innit?
It's a wave. Jeez.
I love this.
No, this is sick. We had to.
You relax. Who's next?
Fine, who's next?
It could be anything, it doesn't have to be sultry.
It don't have to. It don't have to be on this vibe, you know. It don't have to be on this vibe. It just be whatever you want to share.
What's it? There's a short one and there's a long one. I could do best man speech part 2. It's an emotional one. It's emotional.
Whatever one's calling to you, bro.
Or there's diamonds.
Yeah, which one?
Pretty
The
sure.
emotional one, not gonna lie.
Yeah, go on.
Kinda.
Okay, go ahead, do the emotional one.
Alright.
You've referenced it already.
Yeah, so it makes sense. So this is the one he was referring to earlier.
Alright, let me just find it. I've just got so much.
Oh, you can find it, and then JKH can, if he's got it queued up. Have you got it queued up? Oh, is it fresh? New shit.
I've never performed this before, yeah.
Yeah, it's like new shit. It'll be June when it comes out. So
Let's put aside the kisses and the cards. I love it when we're dining, when you pull that Amex card. Long hours working hard, 9 to 5, but you're flexible for candles in the bath. Conversations about laughing to the bank, I love your laugh. Drama as we elevate in Jay-Z and Solange. Rolling down that window, but don't fuck with overdraft. You love to make this money on the table, you pay half. Driven to success, I park my car in your garage. Or did I mean garage? Dip in and out that carriage. Speaking different tongue but fluent in that love language.
come on. It's getting hot in here.
That's a bar.
Yeah. Speaking different tongue but fluent in that love language. Because when it comes to love, you know I can't be half-heart.
Yeah.
You said I need more headlines, a different path I carved. Virgo living in my mind, but you came like a spa. This brain, you know my acid, but your words were a massage. I value your suggestions and your class. For you, my soldiers march. Horses gallop to your throne. You make a house a home. Carpe diem, I replay your VNs on my phone. Without rain, there no flowers, so I fertilize that crop. I appreciate the chocolates, I ate that whole box. Slip and slide and spin the tide like I was wearing Crocs. I ain't ashamed if you be earning more than me, I'm proud. He be getting on your nerves, I'm on your whole 6 fouls. Did you get... yeah, that's it. Yeah,
You're heavy.
That's it.
You're heavy.
Thank you so much.
You're heavy.
Thank you.
That is heavy.
Thank you.
How long did that take you to write? Obviously, it's been a journey, isn't it? Like bits and here, and
So
it comes together.
I was on the train once and I thought, it was like different times, like different things like I'm driving. Oh, that sounds cool. Let me quickly stop by. That's what happens.
You know when you like comes to you every now and then, you're like, that's a sick bar.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Go on, Tiffy.
Alright, here we go. This is best man speech part 2.
Yeah, come on.
If I could do my best man speech again, I wouldn't know where to begin. Talk about the first time we became friends, or talk about the first time we were drunk in Charleston's house and I said, brother, I love you. You always believed in black and yellow, but you know I'm proud of being your little brother. But hate being called yellow. Sometimes you know how to piss me off, you know, blood clot, I'm an islander just like you. Despite being different shades of skin, I know you're a bit darker than me, but you showed me the light again. Especially when I lost my mind in 2015, they thought he was mental. They thought it was the end. But Gigi and you went to visit me in Eastbourne and Mount End. Mental health was so scary, you were there for me. Highgate was a little bit closer to you, but at least you were there from the beginning. You knew I weren't a crack coke fiend. I was just high in life. This time it was different. I lost sight of life. You had faith in me. My blood results were right. You never ever doubted me, especially in Eastbourne. Ricardo and you kept it in. When I fell asleep on your lap, we are so close that you would bust a bladder so I can get some Z's again. You would lose an organ so I can sleep again. My other cousin April explained to Nasser and I that my mental health was due to ancestral generational sin. But we all knew where it manifested. Sometimes I think the silver lining of having mental health was a blessing. So T-Bone, homie, where do I begin? I had no brothers and I had no sisters, but you went in. Secondary school memories of us started with a random someone knock on the door. You presented me with a gift on a plate, Grenadian cookies. Now that was a sin. This time, this best man speech will be in a song, not just for the both of us, but other blood brothers to actually appreciate you're my homie from day. Even when I was goddamn broke and nothing to show for, you still came to every one of my ACS tooting shows. Literally repping my name on your back, so this is my time, my karma, to give it all back. You gave me the chance to recover, but I weren't ready. But you still had faith in me, even though you knew I weren't right. You gave me a chance to tread on small stones to build my confidence back. Here's an example. Blood, I'm nervous. Blood, I'm scared. You know I ain't 100%, bruv. It's your big day, you know you're about to get wed. At the end of that speech, despite that weren't me, but it was me shaking and stuttering. Minutes later, speech complete. I looked for feedback and you said that mine was still the best. I just came out of rehab, Ed Diesel no more, looking like a stuttering fat fool called Teddy. From 6-pack to 1 keg. I couldn't even bend down to tie my shoes when you were just about to get married and wed. But you told me to lift up my feet, put it on your knee, and you said, I'll tie it up again. That's homies for life. Now looking back at it, I can finally say I can breathe again. You gave me responsibilities before that ring was put on that beautiful African woman, Gigi, and your daughter, Asia, and your sons, Tyrell and Marcel, will never be blood, but so thicker than water that they can cool me down. So when you're at work or not around, homie, your spirit is carried from various vessels that I know my mental health will stay intact. Blood, guess what? I think I know how to breathe again.
I love that piece.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
Different energy.
I love the vulnerability in there.
Yeah. 3 hours, Manchester to London.
Bro,
One hell of
thank
a
you.
train ride.
Yeah.
That's mad.
As I was right there, I was crying. I was like shedding tears.
I love pieces like that. Just like they set you free, man.
Yeah.
I've really felt like you were set free with that one.
And you know what's lovely? It's you're expressing your love for your homie. Your boy.
This guy is from nursery. This guy is from nursery.
Yeah.
Nah, that was
See.
Big things are happening in
I love. This is like my favorite podcast. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, everyone else has been sick, but I like the next one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so excited to edit
But
this
you know
one.
what? Yeah, poetry. I feel like the
Yeah.
best poetry, the best music, the best art, always built from the strongest emotions. Like your love for your guy,
Everything.
whatever.
Your energy is like next level.
I love for everyone.
No, like I rate everyone's energy and I love it. I love it, and I can't wait. Like, there's definitely gonna be a part 2 if you guys are down.
We will be back.
Yeah, man, for sure. I feel like I got to end the podcast soon. I don't want it to end. But I wanted to ask about Jade's We Are Where, and then any other projects you guys are doing, and yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Do you know what? So So I started up doing this clothing brand, and it was kind of a lifestyle brand as well, and it was We Are Where. However, I've decided to stop doing it simply because it's very similar to another company that has a very similar name, and they are absolutely amazing. They're actually called We Wear. So they came out a year before. Their names are very similar, and I just don't want to kind of. So I have, because I love the idea of like we are. So I've come up with another idea, another brand, which will just tie in with, and it ties in with everything. It actually came to me yesterday because it's taken me a whole year. It's mad, isn't it? I was walking down from I came back from where my partner lives, by the seaside, and just walking back home, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what it should be called. It's weird. And then I was like, oh my gosh. And I start going and Googling, just checking, has anyone got it? Has anyone Instagram? Is it like trademarked? And I was like, okay, it's not. So like when I'm ready, I'll come out with the brand. But other than that, I like starting up the business again. I'm definitely going to start writing again.
Yeah.
definitely going to start writing again. I want to make this thing happen with like having a video with all of us having like a verse each, just like one video wherever we'll be. We can get all our families to come down as well and have it in like and just have a massive like
a brutal fight.
Just one,
fiesta, bro.
yeah. Can you imagine bringing all our people down and just being in the video? And because I've got like friends as well who are mixed. My nieces are mixed, half Jamaican, half, and just having the mixture of different cultures, so who are Filipino as well. But I also I do want to shoot like another poetry video where I do want multiple like poets and artists to come in, because I want it to be on the topic of racism, and so it's going to be like a very deep one. So those are my kind of goals for this year. Those are my goals. So let me just put that out, manifest.
Go manifest.
Yeah.
Let's
go. Yes.
First of all, just writing, just getting back into writing and finding a space, because I still journal every night, like when I want to like waffle about something, but like just creating art again. And I've got a couple of friends or like people I've met recently as well who like do music, play guitar. And when I went back home to Birmingham in February, that poetry jam night was doing their like 10th birthday event, and it was my mom's birthday that day, and they had like an improv jazz band, and I was like, you know what, like I want to perform for my mom for the first time on her birthday, so I performed the poem I wrote for her, and with the improv jazz band behind, and like, that's the first time I'd ever performed with music, so that's something I want to try again, because it was a vibe, it was nice. So just I've got a couple friends who like play guitar, do music, so maybe like little collab, pull up to an event, show them what like a poetry open mic night is like. But for real, just writing, get into writing.
Do you want to go first?
Getting out of bed, boy.
Yeah.
Get out of bed.
And you did it today, so we're
Yeah,
proud of you.
Today, I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'm so
man.
happy you're here, bro.
Just the same as Mika, really. Start writing. I was looking through my notes and I've got like more than 100 poems. Like some of them are unwritten.
Damn.
And I feel like I need to just jump back on that bandwagon, man. Because the vibe that you guys showed,
But babe, it sounds like you've written a book.
Yeah.
Poetry. Can you imagine putting all, like, if you were ready and you like went through it and stuff and you filtered out, or if you wanted to include all, it sounds like you've actually subconsciously written a book, a poetry book, which can be easily published on Amazon if you wanted to monetize it for free. So boy, you never know. Yeah, they do it all for you.
That's mad.
And I feel like all your struggles that you're going through every day and like things that you're going through, that's poetry in itself. So that's like stuff waiting to be written later on when you've got through.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like, it's valuable information that other people can learn from as well.
Yeah.
Also, Teddy's got music. People don't know that.
We're going to start plugging our stuff in the group chat later.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We'll plug all your shit. But
Stuff.
Mang Tomas is probably like my favourite one.
Mang Tomas.
I love that.
I love Mang Tomas. That's my favourite. The electron.
If you know, like, you put on some that's like just to
Making me hungry, bro.
Dude, this is some secret sushi.
I'm sorry, I was just saying. I know everyone's got like things that they don't know. Yeah, I've got some old videos.
Some hidden shit.
Yeah. You're gonna have to
some gems in it.
You're gonna have to search my old name. Like, you know what I mean?
I used to make YouTube videos about books, like reviewing books and shit.
That's good.
You know what?
That's so good.
I used to do one.
Pre-braces, pre-nice eyebrow.
No. I'm gonna find
It's
that.
still there.
You
Wait, come
and then because I used to do like trainers and music reviews and stuff. So.
Oh, no, I love it, man.
It's a different different
in the
channel,
archives.
It's in the archives, but it's fair on YouTube.
Plug your.
Yeah, you're going JK.
Alright, cool. So I've got a lot of music releasing this year. I've got my first tape releasing sometime this summertime, and I've got my Kage and Colours, which is
in April.
so even if you're so the next one is because by the time this comes out it might pass. So the next one is on the 14th of April, and then I have 14th of April. Then I've got 7th of July, and then 1st of September, which is around my birthday. So and each event is gonna have a different theme. Like every event's there's gonna have something different. Like there's gonna be a 360 booth for one of them, just to let you know.
Nice.
So even if you're not a painter, the most important thing is that you have fun and you'll meet amazing people. So you'll meet fun people. Like the music is nice. There's a lot of like dancehall.
Hey,
like, bashment
that's what we
music.
love
So,
to
like,
hear.
Because one thing is that as you know, as poets, it's great having events that we go to, listen to each other's pains and stories. But what about, don't you know, you've met amazing people. Don't you want to kind of turn up, but in a place that's safe as well, where you don't feel judged. So
so creative.
Yeah. So even if you're not a painter, like you know, if you come when you come through, you get a free rum punch on this complimentary. And you get a free tequila shot as well, and there's like more drinks you get.
My painting will be like,
Speaking my language. Speaking my language.
And then that's it. Like then that's it. There's a wonderful instructor there to guide you, and everyone is lovely. Like is a vibe, and then you get to bring a beautiful painting home made by your hands.
We want to hear yours.
Yeah, what are your plans?
Okay, so-
Mel. But can I just say before we go, and before Meta talks,
Yeah.
because he spoke about how he met us, I just want to say how, like, when I first met Meta, he manifested this. I know I keep saying that word, but he really did, and because it's come into reality, he has always said, and it's 2021 where I met him, that he had wanted to meet other poets, Filipino poets, artists, and bring them and unite them together. And what he's done here today, I'm just so proud of this guy, because whatever he says, he does, and he does it well. Like the attention to detail, you don't even know, you don't even know. Like, we've got these mics here, but he's also bought individual mics for us just in case. Like,
Yes, I had to make sure this podcast.
profesh, man.
You're building a
Profesh.
platform for everyone.
100.
Appreciate it.
And I'm so grateful to be here. But yes, take it away now. What's your plans for this year?
Okay. So when you guys are seeing this in, okay, cool. All right, you guys are seeing this in June, but so a month from now, the first Sunday of July, it's the 7th, right? Yeah, you're gonna see all of these poets headline at Windows to the Spirits. Cool. Yeah, it's gonna be 15-20 minutes set. It's cool how long we want to take it for, but yeah, it's gonna be sick. I'm trying to, at the moment, I still need to fill out the workshop space, like from 5 to 6, but I might put like something Filipino in there. Like, I don't know. I need to get you guys give me ideas afterwards. And then so obviously get your tickets. You can find a link in my bio, Windows to the Spirits or the Metaphorest, on Instagram and YouTube, whatever. What else? Yeah, Windows to the Spirits is the first Sunday of every month. You can find all my videos the first every Sunday at 10 o'clock. There's a new video. That's it, really. I don't know what else to say.
I love how he's like, that's it.
I don't know what else to
throwing events, I'm throwing like
for events. Oh, Poetry and Shoobs. It's coming. Yeah. I mean,
Your podcast.
podcast,
Do bits.
podcast every last Sunday of the month. Yeah. So, before we go, just give out all your socials and where they can find you, and then we'll end this podcast nicely.
So, my poetry is, my name is Jade Granell. Is it? I don't know, but something. Yeah, my name is Jade, and then you'll find me. And my personal, if you want to slide in my DMs, is I.am .jade.
You're funny. That's it. We're keeping that in. Yeah. Okay, we're keeping that in. What are you?
You can find me on Instagram, Mika.sanjose. Nice and easy.
You can find me at Teddy the Protector on IG.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram as JKage, JAY_KAGE, and my Kage and Colours platform is KAGEN Colours, and my TikTok is
My TikTok as well, you know. Plug it.
My TikTok is JKage_TC.
What TikToks do you make?
I make TikToks
Dance.
about poetry and about poetry and music, and my YouTube is JKage. You can find me.
That's it.
Thank you.
So sick.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, guys, that's a wrap.
Yeah,
That was fucking good.
That was it.
Yeah.
How much fun was that?
That was so
That was
much
actually
fun.
sick.
That was so
It was so much
good.
fun.
That was hard.